Hey out there, YouTube. It's Alan again here with Bass to Basics. I was got another sack full of goodies here. As I've said a few times, I'm always looking for the sales, and up in Chattanooga, Bass Pro Shop and Academy both have incredible sales going on really name brand stuff, and then a few of like the Academy brand things. But I was thinking today, and I was talking to my wife. We went out fishing this morning, and we got skunked hard. It was one of those days where the fish would just be on the bank looking at you, and you'd throw everything at them, every kind of retrieve possible, and all they would do is swim beside the bait and look at it. So I said, you know what? We're just going to go out and spend the day, and then we ended up going over to a local park with my daughters and did some hot dog fishing and caught a ton of bluegill and a couple little bass on some hot dogs, had some fun. But something I've been thinking about, I got really into this channel, and I'm really trying to, every day I'm watching videos and taking notes on these videos that I can make to help everybody be a better fisherman and myself as well. And I stopped having fun a little bit. I was getting too serious with it, and I just wanted to step back and have some fun. And one of the things I was doing that, you guys may be doing yourself, is getting too far out of the comfort zone. I'm comfortable with plastics. I've always been a very comfortable plastic fisherman. And, as far as my comfort zone, that and jerkbaits, crankbaits, I'm very comfortable with those baits. I've had tons of success on them. But here recently, I've been falling into that trap of trying to do too many things at one time and buy this bait, buy that bait. Don't let yourself get drawn into that. Get really good at one thing and then move on. You can fish a Texas rig all year round because you can do so much with it. You can fish a jerkbait most of the year. You can fish a square bill most of the year. And even in those times where it don't seem like they'll work, that you can still get bites, but there are peak times. But don't get trapped into that, and most importantly, have fun. Because if you get out there like this morning, and it would have been so easy for me to get discouraged and just say, forget this, I'm not doing this. These fish aren't biting. But I was out there for 4 hours trying to figure them out. Almost ended up divorced because it was very hot. And my wife was not having it this morning because it was incredibly hot and it was just humid. It was a miserable day. So, but we had a lot of fun. And then we had a lot of fun with family this afternoon and with my daughters. So it was a great day, but don't get too serious. Have fun with it. And I just want to remind you of that. But anyway, I'll go through a few things here and give some tips on a few things and maybe help you out. Like I said, if you live in the northern Georgia, Chattanooga area, check out academies. Both the Academy in Dalton and Chattanooga have great deals on baits. Some of it is sold out right now. I talked to a guy there. They should be getting shipments in soon. Keep an eye on it. Bass Pro Shop's got some really good deals going on right now up in East Ridge there. So check them out. I always look for deals. This whole bag I spent less than $80 total for everything in this bag between two shops. So without further ado, let's get in to see what we got here. So last night we went fishing at my wife's aunt's house. She has a small pond in her yard, and went over there, and I was being a little too flamboyant with my casting and got one of my favorite frogs stuck in a tree, which I need to go over there with a chainsaw probably and cut down and get my frog back. But it was these scum frogs. They're called the Bigfoots. So it's your standard frog body that they have. I'll go ahead and open this one out. This is a color I picked out. This color is just called black. But what it's got is it's got these little paddle tails on the back, and they make really good it's got really great action. It makes a lot of noise. It's actually fairly light, but as you can see, it's very soft. Those hooks are already pointed up. They are incredibly sharp, and I had some really good hookup ratios on the one that I lost, but I got this guy in black. And I also got, and the wife picked this color. This will actually do really well around here. White with white legs, and then the top's got that red silhouette to it. Got the red eyes, and they're scum frogs. I've got some of their walking frogs as well, and one of their popping frogs. They're really, really good frogs. These are like $6 a piece. These were not on sale, but I really like them, so I don't mind it. And they're incredibly durable. So, got a few plastics today. These are the Yum, the swimming dinger. So it's, you know, your standard Yum dinger, but it's got like a little paddle tail on the back. And I've never tried them. I got the watermelon red flake, which is one of my go-to colors. I love that color. It works really good in the water around here that I fish in. I've never tried it, and we'll try putting it probably on a Ned rig. Honestly, it's a little longer, so I may have to, you know, bite a little bit of it off. But probably Ned rig, possibly a drop shot. So I'm really wanting to get more into finesse fishing and get my finesse game up. That's what I'm going to start working on a lot here, is my finesse game and my top water. So these are the missile baits. These are called the bomb shots. Once again, the watermelon red flake. Now these I am on a Ned rig. These, so it's basically just like a little small, you know, drop shot kind of worm, and it's got these little ribs on it. It's actually very, very durable. I keep seeing these every time I would go, and I keep seeing them. I'm like, you know what, that'd be really good on a Ned rig. That'd be really good on a Ned rig. Well, I finally bought them to put them on a Ned rig and try it, because I actually had a lot of success on the Ned rig since I started fishing it a few months ago, and it's great. Sticking with the watermelon red flake, got some of the Yum finesse worms. As I said, it's like a trick worm style. You know, one of my favorite things to do with these is just weightless Texas rig them and just jerk them around and let them go crazy in the water, and fish seem to love it. I've had a ton of success on them. I also got, and you've seen any of my videos before, you'll hear me talk about these all the time. The Zoom, the Z-Craw. And I didn't have any real good, I had some green pumpkin, but I didn't have a lot of clear colors, so I got me some watermelon seed today, which is just basically your watermelon color with some black flake in it, but it's pretty clear. And there's a few of the ponds around here that I fish, and even at Hagmill Lake where I was fishing this morning, the water's crystal clear. I mean, my wife was amazed this morning. She didn't even have polarized glasses on, and she could see, you know, 20 feet offshore straight down to the bottom. It's that clear. So a color like this, where it's a little translucent and all, it's going to work great. And these Z-Craws have amazing action. They're a couple bucks a pack. I think it's like $3.50 a pack, and you know, it's a 6-pack. And these things are amazing. This might be my favorite creature style, beaver style bait right now. I can't get enough of them. They're amazing. I also got, so this was weird. So I go over to the worm section in Bass Pro, and they've got these new little things called the McCreature. I don't know how to explain this thing, but it's just weird. I had to get them though, because they just look cool. So I'm not sure if that's picking that up really well, but so you got almost like a small swim bait head, and then this little like ribbon style tail, and they got a ton of salt. So my thought for this is I may try to Ned rig it since it's small. I'm also going to try to drop shot this. I think this tail, the way it's set up, is going to flop around a lot in the water, And I got this color Morning Dawn. Dawn is my wife's middle name. And she has this weird thing about picking colors that I would never fish in a million years, and I always catch fish on them. So we got that. I'm gonna try them out. Don't know how it's gonna go, but I guess we'll find out. I also got some of these, the Bass Pro Stickos. So these are their little paddle tail stickos. It's just like a shad color. It's got the silver with the flake in it and a white belly, but it's got the little kicking tail on the back here. So, you know, put that on a Ned, fish it around. And if you're on a budget, the Bass Pro brand, I mean, these McCreatures are an 8-pack, but these stickos, there's 16 of them. They're 3.5-inch split tail stickos for like $4. You can't really beat that. I mean, you can get a lot for your money going with their brand. Just some size 1 drop shot / wacky rig octopus hooks. I use the same hooks for both. I like the octopus style drop shot hooks for wacky rig as well. And I was getting low, so I just picked up some of those. Also, I picked up just the Yum Dingers, little 4 inches. Most all the Senko style baits I have are 5 and 6 inch. I don't have any 4s, and this is they call it Bama Magic. It's like a green pumpkin with a blue with some, you know, sapphire flake in it. Really cool. I just wanted to try some smaller baits, some finesse as well. And then now we get to the fun stuff. So, first guy here, and this is my wife. I've never been a fan of propeller baits. I've never caught a single fish on anything with a propeller in my life. So this is called the Slush Daddy in bluegill pattern. It's essentially a square bill crankbait body. This is the Academy brand, and it's got a propeller on the front and the rear. She's a huge fan of the weirder baits and the pretty colors and stuff, but they work for her. And what's surprising though about these hooks and things on these Academy brand, they're a little thin, but they're very sharp. So I may end up switching these out for maybe a little bit thicker hook. I have to see what the hookup ratio is like as far as if they bend when a fish gets on, but that's her thing, and more than likely she'll end up catching a 10-pounder on this thing and making me look like an idiot. So stay tuned for my rant and raving video when that happens. They also have some of their H2O Express. Their frogs are on sale. Specifically, their popping frogs for like $3. They're usually like $7. So I love frog fishing. Couldn't pass it up. This is a color scheme I just really liked. I saw it. It's just, you know, black with some yellow flake on the bottom, and a red belly, red eyes, black and yellow on the top. Now, I will have to fix these hooks. They're a little off center, and bend this one particularly. I also have to bend it back in place. It shouldn't be that hard of a fix, but you know, you're not always going to get a perfect lure in every single thing you buy. You know, sometimes you're going to get a little miscue like that. It's pretty easy. I'll just bend it back and it'll be good to go. But got this guy. I love the popping frogs. Now the skirt, tip for you guys, I like my skirt to be about the length of the body, so I am going to trim this skirt down. I think it has a little bit better action when the skirt is about the length of the body. It's a tip that I saw on a few different people's channels when I've watched videos that I tried, and I've had success doing it. So, you know, it's one of those things I do, just like trimming my skirt on my jigs. I never would have thought to do that back in the day, but I've seen a lot of people do it. I've tried it, and it seems to work. So, you know, just a little tip for you there: trim your skirt. So, one of the things that I showed in the video the other day was I got these. They have their jerkbaits on sale as well, and I got a floating jerkbait. And this is their sexy shad color. But I went ahead and picked up the same one. Nice rattle to it, but in a suspending diving jerkbait. And I kind of like to have a variety. I love fishing with jerkbaits. It's one of my confidence baits for sure. That's why I can't wait for fall, and especially springtime, because I love fishing jerkbaits. I'll even fish them in the summertime a lot. I haven't so far this year because I got really into the big worm fishing and all, and I've had some 20 plus fish days on worms and big magnum baits and Texas rigs. So I've went away from the hard baits a little this summer, but I'm going to get into it in the next couple weeks and, you know, get back into what I'm familiar with and just have some fun with it. But this color is great. Get that silver on the top there. Got the, and if you rub this, those aren't just painted on there, like they're carved in, those little scales. Like they put a lot of detail into these, and that's what I'm saying. You don't have to spend a ton of money on those expensive $25 and $30 jerkbaits. Now, yes, do those things perform? They're amazing. But you can catch fish on these too, and especially if you're just starting out or you're on a budget, $3 for this jerkbait. And you know, I'm a big fan of, I'm not scared to fish my lures. Just because I paid 10 or 15 bucks for something doesn't mean I won't fish it around a rock. If I lose it, you know what, that gives me an idea to get better at my casting. You know, don't buy the lure if you're scared to fish it. But you know, if you're on a budget, grab this guy here, learn to use a jerkbait. They swim great. I've fished quite a few of their Academy's brand baits. They perform very well. The hooks on them, like I said, incredibly sharp, little thin, but you know, that's just simple as taking a split ring off and opening the split ring up and putting a new treble hook on. That's an easy fix. And yeah, I like those red eyes. Those things are awesome. So that's that one. Now, something they've had on sale for a while there, their Booyah Spinnerbaits. I love Booyah Spinnerbaits, always have. I've always been a big fan of them. These things are on sale for like $3. And if you know anything about Booyah Spinnerbaits, that's a very good price. They're usually anywhere between $6 and $9, depending on which type you're getting. And then these are just your, these are the Counter Strikes. So this first one here is 3/8 ounce, which, as I said in my last video, this is the Pearl White. I've been fishing a lot of 3/8 ounce. I'm very comfortable with that weight. And apparently I cannot open a package with a spinnerbait in it. So bear with me here. So this is the spinnerbait. As you can see, razor sharp hooks. Just so you know, they're very sharp. You got that white, also got that kind of that shad pattern there, the silver and the black flake. I kind of like how it's got the, I'm a big fan of the Colorado Willow mixture. I like Colorado a little more. It's got a little more thump to it, a little bit more vibration, makes a little bit more commotion than the Willow. But like if I'm out on a big lake or something, for some reason Willow blades just work a lot better. Colorados work a lot better in small ponds or small lakes. But this right here, it's best of both worlds. You got those red eyes in there, you got the hints of the red there. And if you're just starting out to fishing, essentially a spinnerbait, a few tips for you. It mimics a school of fish, a small school. So if you see fish, what they call bait balling, you know, there's a bunch of little fish popping up at the top of the surface and they're feeding. chances are there's bass looking at that school of fish right there. And chances are, if you throw this spinnerbait out past that bait ball and you reel it back through, there's a high chance you're gonna get a strike, because that bass might be waiting for some of those fish to kind of linger down and pick one off out of the school it's feeding atop. You know, they're ambush predators. They're sneaky. They're not just going to swim up and smash into a school of fish. They're going to wait for something to drop down, something to die off, you know, catch the straggler. So this guy coming through underneath that will look like a straggler, and they're going to hit it. Something I will tell you too, I'm always a big fan of trailer hooks on these. I got some trailer hooks I put on mine. Reason being, a lot of times the hits you get on the spinnerbait, it's going to frustrate you. It frustrated me for a long time. They're going to hit it, but they're not going to take it right. But if you got that trailer hook hanging off, the majority of your fish are going to be caught on that trailer hook. They're going to strike at it, but they're not going to take it, and they're not going to hit it fully. So, you know, keep that in mind as well with a spinnerbait. And also with a spinnerbait, windy conditions, to me, there's nothing better. When it's windy, the fish can't see well, you know, the water's real dirty, this right here is my go-to. This has been my go-to guy in really dirty, windy conditions since I was a kid. So that right there, you can't beat it. And then the other one we got here, maybe this one won't take me 25 minutes to get out of the package, is this one's a 1/2 ounce, and it's a little different. It's the Chrome Booyah Shad color. So, you know, and if you're wanting to see like how good quality your spinnerbait is, look, I've caught fish on the spinnerbaits from Walmart in the little dollar boxes that they sit down on the bottom of the shelf. Like, you can catch fish on just about anything, but the quality of the lure, you know, that first fish, you can catch it on anything, but it's fish after fish after fish. That's where you want quality baits. So this guy, as you can see, not too much bigger, but you know, a little bigger. Got the silver head. This is one the wife picked. She loves the pretty baits. Now this is a double willow, one silver, one gold. It's got that chrome painted head. The head itself isn't chrome, it's painted, but it's a little bit more, it's got some flake in the white. It's got a lot more silver to it. It's more of a shad color. So if you're on a lake and the shad are running, you know, they're spawning, this right here will mimic a small school of shad coming through the water. Fish will tear it up. So when a spinnerbait's spinning, it should run like this. So these blades are spinning like this, and it's running up and down. If it's running on the side, you know, I usually find that it's something to do with the wire. I can't really explain it. I'm not 100% sure. Anybody out there can explain that to me. I would love to know exactly what that is. If it is the wire, if it's, you know, something to do with the weight, exactly what it is. I'm still learning a lot of this stuff myself. I would love to know that exact reason, but I know that when they're swimming properly, they should be up and down like this in the water, and these will be, you know, flailing out and putting off a lot of vibration. And the good thing about this, if you fish these in, say, a little bit clearer water, you're going to get some reflection off those blades as well. I'm not afraid to throw a spinnerbait in crystal clear water if I'm not having luck on anything else, because I've caught fish on a spinnerbait that I spent hours trying to catch, like this morning. But I didn't throw a spinnerbait this morning. I was being stubborn, and I was dead stuck in, I was going to catch something on a Texas rig and caught nothing. Another thing, don't be too stubborn to change lures and try to find what the fish are looking for. 2 weeks ago, I went to that same lake, and all I was doing was dragging, you know, rage craws or 10.5-inch worms across the bottom, and I caught 22 fish in less than 3 hours. just pounding the banks. Today, I got my bait sniffed like 4 times, doing the exact same thing. So that water can change from day to day, week to week. Whatever worked for you last week may not work today. Whatever worked for you today may not work tomorrow. So always be able to adapt and try to figure those fish out, because what I figured out when I caught all those fish is I was slow crawling on the bottom. Had nothing to do with it. I picked that tempo up and pulled that, swam those worms and those crawls just off the bottom where they were still smacking some dirt up. And that was the juice that made them start smashing those lures. So you've got to be versatile. And that's why I've got so many different lures, because I keep a little bit of everything with me just in case I need to switch up. So now at Academy, they also had, well, let me get to this guy first. This guy came from Bass Pro. So when I was going through my boxes of my baits and all the other day, I'm always going through and looking to see, like, what do I have? What do I need? Is it a color that I'm missing? Is it a specific type of bait? Whatever. So I don't have any clear jerkbaits. Well, this is the old school Propeller. And this color, it's just the husky jerk. It's a suspending jerkbait, and it's glass minnow. So if you see here, the bottom of this is a pearl white, and there's a little silver tint up here. But the rest of this is crystal clear. Nice rattle to it. Nice eyes. A little bit smaller jerkbait. The reason I wanted a clear jerkbait, something that you can see through, is when I go out to some of these ponds I fish, or some of these lakes, they're really clear water. And if I throw a black jerkbait in there, it might work. But what this does is when that sun shines through, the fish really can't discern what it is. All they see is an erratic movement, and they're going to come and investigate it. And when they come investigate it, and you're twitching that jerkbait and you're pop, let it sit for a second, they can't really get a good look at it. All they know is something's there. They're going to instinctively strike. And that's how I've caught probably the majority of my jerkbait fish, is when I pop, when I pause it, they're already investigating. Pop. As soon as that second pop goes and it starts to pause, that's when they hit. Almost, I'd say a vast majority, 90 to 95% of every fish I've ever caught on a jerkbait is right after that last pop, right when it starts to pause, it starts to suspend, or it starts to float back up, whichever, they hit it. So, but that's why I wanted clear. I've got a lot of different stuff. So then we go to Academy. And this was actually hilarious. They had Strike King stuff on these huge clearances on Strike King. I love Strike King stuff. Kevin Van Dam, I grew up watching this guy fish. He's a guy that I would love to someday go out on the boat with and just pick his brain for a couple hours about, things that I have no clue. They had a bunch of these, like they're square bills here, $2 a piece for the KVDs. These are the 1.5s that dive 3 to 5 feet. I'm just gonna go through these real quick. There's a few of them. Now these don't rattle. As I said, I usually like the rattle because it's a secondary kind of thing. But this is citrus shad. It's got that orange belly, blue on the top, got the white and chartreuse on the side. Those kind of colors work really well around here. I love that. I've got it in lipless. I've got it in a lot of stuff. But for $2 for that, you can't beat it. Now this one I will take out. So I buy that Rapala at Bass Pro. I go to Academy, and they got this guy on sale for like $4. This is what they call Pro Blue. So white belly. This is a Strike King KVD. Got the black head. It's got that dark blue stripe down the top, and it's got that clear body. This is very similar, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, this color pattern is very similar to what Hank Cherry used this year to win the Bassmaster Classic. He won it on a shad wrap, style bait, and I believe it was a very similar color to this at Gunnersville. And these hooks, razor sharp, high quality hooks. I love these jerkbaits. So anyway, moving on. So, I got the Sexy Shad and the flat square bill. This guy here is called Chartreuse Perch. So it's got a very dark green top. It's got that chartreuse hints in there with the green. You got the old perch pattern. Got some orange on the belly. Once again, these were $2 a piece. I wasn't passing that up for these. These are great baits. And this one's natural shad. Silver with some red on the bottom. Real dark top there, almost black. And then it's got those little just hints on the side there of, the shad pattern. And then last but not least, I had one of these in my last video when I rated Academy for their sale price stuff. It's the poppin' perch. They still got them on sale for $5. These things are $11 at Bass Pro Shop. And this one, now they're sold out of a few of the colors, but they still had this one, and this is a color I don't have. This is the leopard perch. $5 for this. I'm not passing that up, so there it is. Leopard perch. This pattern you see on the top is also the pattern that's on the bottom. Red in the mouth, got the red eyes. Got this like flappy skirt on the back, and I fished the other one here recently, and it ended up being almost like a search bait for me because I had fish that would swirl, and I would just go right behind with a Texas rig and caught a couple nice ones. But very soft, has a lot of give, incredibly good hooks, and I love this thing. The action of this tail is a lot different than your standard frog, but it works because it's almost mimicking a fish as opposed to a frog. It's just a very different. You fish it the way you would a popping frog, but it's just got a little bit different action to it, and fish love it. So, like I was saying, I'm always trying to look out for you guys and girls out there. If I see these deals pop up, I'm definitely going to let you know, because I'm going to show you what I got and pass it on to you. And I'll always be looking for stuff like that. And if you got any tips for me, drop comments in the section below. I'm going to start getting some videos up in the next few days. I went out and bought some fluorocarbon and some braid. I'm going to get a video made on the difference in the line types, what's best to use on each one. And then I'm going to start going into some specific type baits, things I'm very comfortable with and familiar with that I can hopefully help you guys out with, and go from there. And also I'm going to get into rods and reels, like what gear ratio means, what the different actions of the rods are, just to help when you go out to buy or something, you have a little bit more insight as to what you may need. So feel free to give me any comments on videos you might like to see. I'm always studying, I'm always learning. Even when I'm sitting in my office at work, I'm usually watching videos, writing stuff down that I may not know. So I'm learning from you guys just as much as you may learn from me, and I'm hoping that, I start seeing people saying, hey, you said this, I went out and tried it, and I caught a nice fish. I'd love to see that. That's what makes this worth doing. Until then, I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you next time.